You're right. Thank you.
I loved the title sequence of this piece of all of the unseen voices projecting their ideas of how she should deal with grief, of the best route forward, of the cliches. And it really just was brilliant to watch our lead character just take them in. And you began to see what she wasn't receiving. And that was space to be herself and to grieve in the way that she feels necessary to honor that life and to honor her own feelings. So I love this piece because it created that sense of silence and space for her to explore those feelings. It's just excellent storytelling in that space, but also in the tension between the two women, because once she was finally given that space, there's a real intimacy and an exchange allowed instead of just a one-sided advice for her to move along and to rush through this time. And just that tension and that intimacy between the two women was reverberating between them on screen at the peak of a vulnerable time in a vulnerable place. There was something lovely about the environment that they chose and the sense of textures and the sensuality, not sexuality, but the sensuality of something warm and comforting, of the warm glow of candles all around, the cozy robes on a plush bed, in the warmth and cuddling, a warm bath of bubbles around them. The environment encompassed that same feeling of embrace and trust that you can have with somebody that you love and is giving you the space and respect. And I think that support is the definition of care, and of aligning with people like that is the definition, I think, of self-care. So I thought it was a really beautiful and nuanced piece.
Is as much about grief as it is about love, and its examination of grief is very genuine and earnest. The way it could feel to lose someone even years later, it can feel like it's just yesterday. And the expression of grief that this protagonist goes through, these feelings of guilt and insecurity and second guessing and hopelessness, these are all feelings that so many of us could relate to in times in our lives when we've lost someone that we cared about deeply. But the silver lining of it all is having the loved ones that we still have around us for support, especially during these kinds of difficult, trying times. So it's great to see the queer love here being positioned as a means of refuge for the main character so that she can get through this difficult time with her partner's love, solidarity, and support.
I really enjoyed this short film. I thought that it was such a beautiful sentiment, especially the way that it began. It really made me stop and think about how in society today we all like to put a positive spin on grief, that we can't just let someone grieve and tell them that it's okay to grieve. We always have to put these conditions on it. So I thought that that was very clever and very, very moving. I loved the relationship between the two actresses. They had such a nice written relationship and an on-camera relationship. Like, I believed them, but I really loved the way that their relationship was written, the support for each other, and both actresses carried that out. I felt beautifully. I thought that it was lit really well, especially all of the stuff that was done in the bathroom with the tub. It could have been really awkward with that, with the angles, and it wasn't. It was actually very, very beautifully done. It was beautifully lit. The angles were gorgeous, a lot of support there. You know, the one actress leaning on the other and having that be a supportive thing. One thing that I would have liked to have seen with the hair washing, I think I would have wanted that to be a little bit more clear. Was she washing her hair, or was she just giving her some sort of a scalp massage? I wasn't entirely sure. I thought that she was legitimately washing her hair. And when there wasn't any shampoo or suds or rinsing, it pulled me away from the story. So I would have liked to have seen that a little bit clearer. But all in all, I thought this was a wonderful short.
I really love this movie. I mean, so many things. First of all, I love the theme. I love the idea of dealing with grief, losing a parent, not knowing if they're proud of you, worrying about that, and having someone there to support. And it's just a beautiful relationship. They're a beautiful couple, and it's really it's lovely to see the comfort that was given, and the care. And I loved the scene where she was washing her hair. I just thought it was so beautiful and so sweet and so loving, and I just enjoyed it very, very much. I love the locations. I thought the editing was really well done. I thought the two main actresses were wonderful. I also thought the other actors were great too. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's really, really great, and congratulations.
I really liked this because I thought it showed a really good way of expressing and showing intimacy between two people that you cultivate over a relationship, and it isn't necessarily like intimacy in like a sexual way or even a sensual way. It's intimacy that two people can create between being vulnerable and being open and being kind of committed to each other. And I thought they did such a good job of actually portraying that, because it is often hard to do in any kind of show or movie, just because it's a hard thing to kind of cultivate between people. But also, especially when it's such a short time frame, to be able to successfully portray that is really impressive.
It's a very simple, touching, emotional story about a woman who's dealing with grief, as well as the guilt of not ever having come out to her family as a queer woman. I really liked the diverse relationship. I loved the portrayal of the main character. It's really refreshing to see how a different culture from my own deals with grief and the process of sort of honoring someone that you love who's passed away. The set design was really great. I loved the choice to light the main character's apartment in two different ways. One very dim and empty feeling when she was alone, and then when her partner showed up, all of a sudden there were candles lit, and all of these different pieces of her apartment, now illuminated, showed so much of her personality and her soul. I thought that was a really great attention to detail that really elevated the story.
Great job presenting an authentic dynamic between Emiko and Neha. I think that it also looked at the topic of grief very honestly. I think that from Neha's perspective, we got to see the challenge of being there for someone in a way that is truly supportive and selfless and open. And I think that from Emiko's perspective, we were shown the struggle of giving yourself permission to be sad and vulnerable in front of somebody else, and also giving yourself permission to be as sad as you feel at all, and not, compare your suffering to that of others, but to allow yourself to feel what you feel. And I think that the end of the film really brought home the point of how important it is to have somebody in your life that you can be completely yourself in front of and natural in front of, and the power of
I think
that.
I really want to shout out the performances. The performances were really good. Both of them really drew me in and like connected me with the character with their performances. Um, I really emotionally connected with them. I also really liked the intimacy of it, like how it was very confined. One apartment. Very small scope. Two characters. We don't see anything else. It made me feel like I was close with these people, like they're my best friends. You know what I'm saying? And that really, I think, really helped me emotionally invest in the narrative. I also really like the candlelit look. Um, like again, it added to the intimacy and helped me emotionally connect better. So yeah, the acting, the candle style lighting, and close production, intimate production design and intimate cinematography, really well done.